Yeah, welcome, Jason. How's it going, man?
Good. A little rainy around here.
Where are you out of?
Southeast Louisiana, Slidell area.
Nice. Oh, that's right. From last time you were here. That's
Yeah.
great. Nice to see you back, man.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, since then I've had an inspection that I got to finally use the software for.
Nice. How'd it
And
go?
it took me a minute because first time using it for an actual inspection. But one of the things that really stood out and that I appreciated was that the mistakes I made during the inspection with the software, I was able to later correct at home on the desktop, something I couldn't
Nice.
do with some of the others I've tried out because I took the picture in the wrong spot or something like that. I didn't realize I was in that part of the template or that part, that kind of thing. So
Love it.
really liked it. Um,
Awesome.
really made my life a lot easier. That's for sure.
Nice. Great. That's great to hear. Well, and it's always hard your first, I don't know. It's funny. I mean, I'd been using Scribeware for years before we had a mobile app, and then um, uh, when we when we finally got a mobile app, I would say that it took me like 6 months to start getting comfortable using a mobile device. But I'd been doing it for a decade with like a camera and a voice recorder,
Mhm.
So I actually have a whole class around that. It's called report writing and workflow, and a lot of it was just trying to kind of unpack the maybe I should do that sometime for everybody. I don't know if you guys are interested in it, but there's a couple little good nuggets. A lot of you probably figured out most of these things, but to me, there was a lot of analyzing my workflow when I started using a mobile app, trying to understand like, well, am I a home inspector or am I a report writer?
Yeah.
They're very different things. And what I realized after some thought was that a lot of the stuff that we're doing as home inspectors comes to us um, willy-nilly throughout the home inspection. So if I see a crack in the foundation, I don't really know what I'm going to say about it until I'm done with the inspection. And so I need to quickly compartmentalize all the data that's coming to me that I don't know the answer to and not really worry about that, not try to write a comment and get ahead of myself. And at the same time, if I can quickly acknowledge all of those things that the data that's coming to me that I know exactly what I want to say, then I should go ahead and do that and like write that part of it. And it was really
Yeah.
that kind of division of labor and the quickly identifying the things that I'm not going to report on the mobile app and I'm just going to gather data and write a comment once I know what I'm going to say versus the things that are sitting there right in front of me. So does this resonate with anybody? I mean, you guys kind of gone
Oh
through
yeah.
this dilemma? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a list in my class, and I think, off the top of my head, the things that I try to report on, and I design my template like this, that I want to report on as I go would be water heaters, electric panels, uh, bathrooms, kitchens, attics, garage. Those things are all kind of, I don't have to go chase those all over the place. The laundry room for me is like kind of usually most of the comments are like the same comment and you can sort of go click, click, click and get the report done. Whereas to me, a lot of other systems are fit into two categories. One is that I need to chase them all over the building, so I don't even know what I'm going to say until I'm done. Or there are multiple defects with the same system. So, like roofs. I mean, do you ever find one problem with a roof? Once in a while, maybe, but usually there's like at least two. And so then I start using this is kind of how we came up with like that whole photo captions to bullets technique is really trying to handle multiple defects with the same system. And I think the same could be said for, things like structural problems and stuff where I don't know, we don't even really know what we're going to say until we're done. And so I don't want to go ahead and start trying to write a comment that then ends up being wrong. I have to delete it and redo it. Has anybody done that on the mobile? Like you start writing a comment and you put it in and then you like find more stuff later and you realize it was wrong.
Well, and that's exactly what happened to me the other day, and it's happened to me and others too. And then one of the things that I had a problem with before was put something in there, and I thought it was one way, but then I found made another discovery in the adjacent room, and it
Yeah.
really changed my perspective. And I had so much trouble in the other softwares getting that manipulated and changed correctly.
Interesting.
I got it, but it was just a real pain in the neck.
Yep. Well, I've got my mobile app logged in, and I've got a few different things I wanted to go over, but we could certainly spend a little time on workflow today if that is of interest to people. What a nice group on here. Hey, everybody. Raj is on here, Erskine, Wayne, Jim out of Spokane. We got Mike all the way from Kauai. We're spanning some time zones here. We need one of our London, our UK guys to be on here, and we'll get some like half the globe. Let's see, Pete's coming in. So welcome everybody. Tim's on here. Margaret, hey guys. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, does anybody, I mean, you want to start? Does anybody have burning questions they have? I love to keep these sort of free form and just see where it goes. I have a few things in mind that I was sort of prepared to show, but they're not, not too much of it's on fire. There's one or two new things that I'd show that are on the mobile, but
I would just make a comment that, when I first started with Scriber, you're telling me, hey, captions to bullet points, captions to bullet points. And I really didn't get it for the first couple months. But once it clicked, man, there's just no other way to do it. It's the most efficient, tight report. It's a game changer.
yeah, that's great to hear, Mike. I love that, man. It really, I don't use it for everything, and you could. In fact, Mike is really, you guys, if you're interested, is a very cool person to talk to. He has a very unique template that, the photo captions to bullets is neat. It was something we were working on, and then I met Mike, and he explained what workflow he wanted. I mean, you basically wanted a workflow where you take pictures and caption them, and so then we spent, quite a bit of time like discussing this and tweaking templates and tweaking some of our features and stuff so that it could get more and more powerful. But it's pretty neat. Mike's writing pretty detailed reports, and you take a picture and you caption what you see. And then, of course, there's some organization that has to happen. You have to kind of land your pictures in what I call sort of a photo bucket in order to accomplish that, right?
By the way, if anyone wants to see it, I posted a link to a sample report. It's the last one I did last night.
Love
If
it.
anyone wants to see kind of my method using captions to bullets anyway.
That's awesome, Mike. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's worth talking about. Does anybody not know photo captions to bullets? You guys want me to kind of review the concept of that real quick? That'd be helpful. You guys see my screen? We'll do a few desktop things here, real quick. Let's see. Just gonna go ahead and copy this. Well,
Still is client info.
I was getting rid of it as quickly as I could. You didn't see that. Um, cool. So this is just a job I did the other day. This was a 1 year anniversary inspection. There's actually some interesting stuff to go over here. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I've been interested in some of these meetings to bring in a little bit of technical home inspection stuff. Um, this was new construction 1 year anniversary inspection, and all of these bullets here came from my photo captions. And I was going around, and none of these were that big a deal. This was actually pretty nicely installed siding system. So let me go ahead and I will delete this comment, and then I'm going to go into my filter. The media for your pictures, there's a little filter over here on the right. So I'll click that, and right now I'm showing all the media. I could show only media in the report. This is actually new. So for people that like the photo captions, you could take all your pictures, you could see the ones that you've used in the report and open up only those ones and go through and caption them all later if you wanted to. Or you can show only the media not in the report. So that's actually this media, only the media in the report is a new filter. And we added that because some teams like to have lots of CYA pictures, and they didn't want to have to scroll through all of them to caption them. They wanted to only caption the ones they're using in the report after the fact. So this would be a cool tool for that. That's kind of new. So in this case, I only want to see the media that I haven't used in the report, and that'll help kind of thin some things out. So you can see my technique on the siding of this building was there's a couple things that I wanted my illustrations for. So they used a kickout flashing that wasn't 4 inches by 4 inches, which is required by code. So to me, this was too small of a kickout flashing. So I chose a separate kickout flashing comment. And this was really easy for me to add. I just went in and I typed the word kick, and it went through and it found inadequate kickout flashings. And then where was that picture? We'll go grab it and bring it in. And boom. Now the little pen that you guys see here is a little mini gunny sack. That pen is going to stay hidden unless I choose something from the pen. So let's go ahead and click on the pen. Kickout flashings were present but smaller than the required 4 inches. How convenient. That's exactly what I wanted to say. So now I can close that. And I love these little pens that I've added to a lot of my comments that let me quickly massage the comment to be more specific to what I've found. Because if my comment is, inadequate kickout flashings, well, that could be anything. They could be rusted, they could be missing, they could be not, located in the correct place. They could be inconsistently applied. So then I could use one main comment and use these little mini gunny sacks to kind of massage the comment. This is another one. I could find no visible evidence that this needs to be done right away. So I might use that if I were doing like a 20-year-old building that had inadequate kickout flashings and I couldn't really see. I don't know. Me personally, I don't want to like tell people to like rip apart their house if there's no real reason for it. So I could massage the comment that way. A
Dylan,
logical.
one thing you can make your gunny sacks that you're showing right now multiple choice or just select one. If
Correct. I can choose one, or I could, here's another one that's kind of cool. Logical time to do this would be during the next siding work or during the next roofing job. And I love this one. If the house were 15 or 20 years old and a roof's coming up, I could just click on that and be like, hey, I would do this during the next roofing job. So in this case, I just wanted this one little comment here. So I didn't put every siding comment into one comment. I could have using the photo captions to bullets. But I also this one always drives me crazy. You guys must see this on new construction all the time. But penetrations greater than 1.5 inches in fiber cement are supposed to have a flashed or a mounting block, a flashed mounting block, and they always just put the vent in. And the problem with this installation, from my perspective, is when the backdraft damper breaks on this plastic dryer vent, can you just quickly swap out a new cover? You can't. It's going to be a huge pain in the butt. You really have to like rip all the siding apart, and to me it's such a mess. Whereas if they have a mounting block, you've got a really easy upgrade. So I have to me it's kind of a long comment. I've got an illustration, so I made a separate thing just for this. Um, is this helpful? I'm kind of like showing you guys how I reported on all this. It was a 1-year-old house and it was a 1 year, 11-month inspection. I like to make a little note not to caulk between the fiber cement and the vent. I don't know. Do you guys I find a lot of homeowners see that and they think that it's wrong and they want it caulked. And so I like to make a note of like, no, this is how it should be. Up to you guys. And then the gutter thing, right? The gutter guys always put the gutters right onto the siding and there's supposed to be a 1 inch clearance. So in any event, I wrote a bunch of different repair comments for siding, even though it's multiple defects with the same system. I kind of wanted my illustrations to explain a bunch of those things. So then I also went ahead in here and I clicked localized siding repairs needed. So in my template, I have a little inspector note. This checkbox will not show up in the report, but my comment will. So I click that. And then I've got what I call a photo bucket. So this is a super vague comment that siding repairs are needed. And now I'll go ahead and I captioned most of these using voice to text as I went around the building. Now I'll drag them all in. I actually think they're kind of in the sequence that I want. I might rearrange that one. So great, this is what I want. I put my cursor here. I use this little photo captions to bullets button, the one with the mountains on it. And let's read the comment first. Localized siding and trim repairs needed. Repairs are needed exterior siding. Examples of observations noted during inspection include, I can hit the button. Exterior paint touch-up is needed on the base of the shingled siding above the garage. Localized caulking failure, garage door trim. Incomplete painting, south side soffit. So blah, 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 blah. recommend they fix it. Also notice when I brought this comment in brand new, see how I could save it pre-flagged? And so I've got one item to review here, but you can now, this is thanks to Scott Baker's suggestion, you can go ahead and if you update a comment, I don't want to do it here because if I update this comment, it would remember all my bullets here. But if you update a comment with it flagged, it will remember it flagged and make it show up pre-flagged, which can really help you if you like the whole photo captions to bullets concept. It means you can kind of have these parent comments show up pre-flagged, and the flags again you can tab through your whole inspection here with the required fields, looking for pre-flagged, or it'll find anything you want. In this case, we only had this one comment, so I could unflag it now, and that'll go away. Um, that helpful, guys? Just kind of review of, using, we're showing a lot of stuff here. We're using a couple individual comments that with illustrations pre-attached. We are showing the pre-flagging. We're showing using in your template, these inspector only notes to quickly get the comments you want. And then to Mike and Kauai's comment, like, I just took pictures and captioned them. And I don't know how you can really be more granularly specific as quickly. I would argue it's not possible. It's just such a great technique. Now, some tips, Mike, are you using the Gboard when you use voice to text, or what do you?
Um, yeah, it is Gboard.
Yeah. So I did get Google's version of a keyboard for my phone, which I think is better. I was just with Mike Parrish down in the Fabi conference. I don't know if there's any Fabi folks on here, but it's fun to see a bunch of people down there. And he was showing me that he's using an AI keyboard. So if you're interested in having artificial intelligence write your comments for you and stuff, you could have a keyboard that's AI based, that's actually like authoring comments that you could then drop in to Scribeware. So there's a lot of options there, but in my experience, Google's Gboard has better voice to text recognition and speed than the ones that come on your devices. So for whatever it's worth, it's helped me. Just a little tidbit there. Cool. Anybody have any questions on photo captions to bullets stuff? Is this kind of good so far? Right on. I
Dylan,
wanted
I
to,
had God damn it.
yeah, I'd love to hear a question. Was that Jim?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my mouse is going a little crazy with the Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick question. So we're talking about the photo captions and then the gunny sacks. It's kind of a two-part question. So how do we integrate those well when the gunny sack's got 5 of the 6 comments we want, and there's an extra thing that's just unusual. I don't want to make it part of the gunny sack, but I do want to include it in that same bullet. It seems like when I try clicking within that shaded area, I get into gunny sack trap and I can't get out of it without adding a comment.
Let's do that. That's a super good question, Jim. Thank you. It was actually one of the things I wanted to show was what I'm calling kind of a hybrid workflow. And let us know if you're having trouble with it. We've actually made a few little tweaks to try to make it easier to do a hybrid workflow. So let me show you, this is a newer template that I've been working on that was sort of based on a lot of these new ideas that we're working with. So this template, one of the things that I think would speed you up, and I'll get to your question, Jim. I'm going to show the template a little bit, and we'll get there slowly if that's all right. Everybody's interested in speed because that's important. And one of the things I've done here is I think that if you really want speed out of a template, trying to have as few sections as possible is better. Yeah, Mike is doing a little this thing, right? Like the more you can condense it down, you just don't have to navigate so much. So this is, notice how in this template I have grounds and decks. So there's actually a lot in this one chapter. I could put some photos here if I wanted, but I've got, the whole site and drainage things and retaining walls and vegetation and all that. Then I've got deck stairs and flat work. So like kind of all the little things that are attached to the building for the most part. And then I created an outbuildings one that you might not even use. Notice how in this one I didn't set any required fields. They're all black and white. Whereas all these to me are things that are really part of the inspection. This was more just handling all the weird little stuff that is attached to the building to one degree or another. So anyway, just general concept for trying to condense your template. The other thing that I've leveraged here that is a change from, old Scribeware, if anyone's been around for a while, is I started trying to do, both describing things and then having a few comments here. So with this template under site description, you could describe steep slope, and then you could do action items. And arguably, I might only use three comments for this whole thing, and that's it. And so maybe one is soils engineer recommended, and I could call that a major concern, or I could move it to a due diligence item. So you could recommend that. But then if there were other things, the building site, the following observations were noted. So let's go ahead and click this little gunny sack. Construction debris needs to be removed, and the landscaping is incomplete. Well, let's say we want to add something weird. This is kind of what Jim was saying is, cool, we've got these two gunny sacks, but now we want to add something weird. Let's, dead deer was noted in the yard. You laugh, but that happened to me the other day. I showed up at this house. Well, I guess it was about a year ago, and I was like, man, something really smells here. Like, I mean, it was like my eyes were watering and I was gagging, and I went around and I was like a dead deer. It was crazy. It's kind of sad. Um, so anyway, not one you're likely to have pre-made in your template, right? So I caption that, and you put your cursor here at the end of the last bullet, and it should just add that in below, Jim. It's a little trickier on mobile. You have to kind of there's a feel to it. You have to kind of hold your finger on it and then hit the button. It is easy to kind of trigger the gunny sack to come back open, but I have been able to fairly consistently do it. And this would be super valuable if you're using a technique where you just don't have, I mean, we're kind of innovating this as we go in Scribeware, where you just don't need that many comments per section if you want to report like this, if you're kind of willing to embrace it. And, you think about it, any comment I find about the building site, I could add it in here. So let's add another one. There is a sinkhole under the oil tank. It's not something I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go along. But again, you come and you could add that one. Now notice how it added both, so you could go and just delete it. But on desktop, it's really easy to use a combination of pre-made gunny sacks and photo captions to bullets. And to me, this is a very powerful hybrid approach where if I were trying to author comments that covered, that would to make things really fast, I might have a site description comment that I would try to keep my gunny sacks to 10 items or fewer personally. In my experience, if you have more than 10, I'll show you, I could go to my other template real quick, and I'll show you guys my deck gunny sack just for fun. A lot of you have probably seen it, but let's open that one up. So I have this comment and I authored it, and I think it's neat. I never use it. For several reasons. One is there's way too much here. So you can build a gunny sack where it's like, what's wrong with the ledger board? You can click on it, and it hasn't been bolted correctly, and it's installed over the siding, and the hanger fasteners are incomplete, and the lateral load ties are missing. It's all pretty, and then under guardrails, you could open it up, and maybe there's large openings in the guardrail, and the guardrail's loose. Maybe they notch the posts. Actually, I mean, it's still pretty fast. And again, all the yellow will not print. But to me, it's a lot to read. And at a certain point, I prefer the voice to text because I can just be a little more specific about which deck, if it's multiple decks, or, three rotted boards were noted at the northeast corner or whatever. I can just be more specific. But this is a huge gunny sack. And I think to me, what I'm finding with my gunnies is the most useful ones have about 5 or 10 comments. And when I have that, I can go click, click, click. And I think that the gunny sacks are the most useful in two places. One is when you want to massage a comment, like add some little detail to it, or the other is if the comment that you're finding is always the same. So a good place for a gunny sack, I think, is stairs. The stairs are usually the same, and so the riser heights have to be within 3/8 or whatever. I'll go show you one of my stair gunnies. Um, so this is kind of, well, let's uncheck these and I'll show you what I did here. So if I hit old non-conforming stairs, I get 2 comments. This inspector only note is interesting. So this is a modifier that I built that is designed to not show up in the report. See how it says not included in report. But what's cool about this is as soon as I pick a stair comment, like these old stairs noted, it serves up my illustrations for me so that I could choose which ones I want and drag them into the comment. Can I get an amen and a hallelujah for that? Isn't that fun?
That's amazing. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. So let me show you how I built this modifier real quick. We'll undo this. I'll delete it and we'll bring it back here. There we go. We get it all back. So under settings, we're going to go under observation modifiers, and I'm going to go all the way down to inspector only notes. And this is something that we changed recently that I think it caused Margaret some trauma. I apologize, Margaret. This was something we always wanted to fix, but it was like scary to fix because we knew it would mess a few people up. But it's so much better now. So this is a modifier in Scribeware. So every modifier, you could give it its own name. So in this case, I called it an inspector note, and I give it a plural name, inspector only notes. These will not print in the reports. These are only information for me. So then I gave it an icon for no particular reason, but I did. And then here's the big thing. I excluded it from the report and I excluded it from the summary. And if you exclude a modifier from both, then it doesn't show up in the report. Everybody with me on this? Am I moving too fast? Cool. Yeah. So that's again, you go to observation modifiers, and then, if I wanted to, I could turn this into, see, this one does not go to the summary. This is just an inspector note that I like to put in the report, but this one is going to go to the report. Our modifiers are so powerful in Scribeware. They really let you sift it through the information and deliver it to the client in the way that you want to. And I love having a lot of background information that does not go to the summary, so my summary can be cleaner and more concise. So the notes don't go to the summary, but
Hey, Dylan,
yeah.
if you change the modifier, then it can also change the behavior, how it behaves in the report, right? Because you can just click at the top left and
Correct.
say,
Yeah. No, that's a good point, Mike. So what he's saying is like if I wanted all these illustrations in the report, I could just go and turn them into an inspector note, and now this whole little thing would be in there. That makes sense. And then if I can choose inspector note, and now it's hidden. So good thing to know about. So cool. And then let's go look at my little gunny sack. So or this comment. Older stairs noted the stairs to the, and we can choose multiple. So basement and second floor are common. We could choose third floor too if we wanted. So and I list personally old stairs as an improvement item. This is a business decision, but I love having an improve or upgrade modifier for like things that are not code today, but are the way the house was built. So we don't have to read all this blah, 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 but it's basically saying like, look, all buildings that are old have stair issues, and stair issues should be taken seriously for safety, but they are what they are. So then we've got guardrail. The guardrail's incomplete, should run the length of the stairs. Large openings that exceed 4 inches were noted in the guard. The guardrail's too short. The guard wall is too short. The guard is loose. There's loose balusters. Handrails don't return into the wall. It's not done with an approved type 1 or type 2 profile. This is all cool. I mean, this is like straight out of the building code. I just went down and was like, here's the list. You can see I have wood decay if it were like exterior stairs. The stair treads are narrow, resulting in steep stairs. Cracked stair treads were noted. Risers are not even. This is a good one to remember. The adequate ceiling height should be 6'8". You know how you often have to like stoop under stairs, especially in old basements and stuff. The door swings out over the stairs. You can't do that. Windows are inside the stairs. That should be safety glass. Anyway, Isn't that fun? I love that gunny sack. It's like it's a little, I mean, if you are an owner of a company of employees, this is like a tutorial of like, here's what you should look for on the stairs. It's all in one place. Um, so I don't know. That's a lot of clicking, but I do like my old stair gunny sack. Is that helpful, guys? A little kind of overview of gunny sack stuff. And then if I wanted to, I could have dragged those illustrations in. You just drag them down. Cool. And Aaron, Jim took off, but hopefully I answered his question about hybrid workflow of those gunnies. Um, Anybody else have questions that they had of things? My plan was to kind of the second half get on the mobile and show you guys some things, so I could do that here pretty soon. But while I'm in desktop, does anybody have any desktop questions?
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah.
I got a question. So is there a way for so if you scroll down to the comments that you made on this page of your report, right here in the blue,
Yep.
so can I copy that and put it on another section of the report and paste it, like paste so let me see, because I'm looking at this on my phone and I'm not sure what section this belongs in. Foam insulation is visible. This might be the garage. Um, but if I
Yeah,
wanted to
th
copy
this is an
this,
awesome question. Yeah, let me show you. So it would be it would be hard to do on mobile
okay.
because the mobile will always organize the data wherever you've put the data. So if I were on mobile and you found the comment, but it was in the wrong place, I might flag it, and that would help you remember to do it. But let me show you how you could make this comment. Let's go to like bathroom sinks, and we'll try to make this comment visible in bathrooms. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So foam insulation is visible. I'm going to go under the three dots. I'm going to edit in library. And this is pretty cool. I'm going to get this library category up here. So right now, this is in my narrative template and my interior library category. So let's look for bath. So bath, narrative, bathroom sinks. That's what I want, right? So boom, I got that. And now what I'm going to do is add as a new library entry. You could move it. If I updated it, would move it from wherever it currently is to there. But now I'm going to add as a new library entry. So now let's go to my bathroom sinks and let's type in foam. There it is.
Okay.
Did everybody get that?
Nice.
That's pretty cool, I think. It's a really good question, James. I wish we could do that on mobile, but that starts. I would say that if you want, you can make things globally available depending on how you design your template. The problem is keyword searches. I mean, we worked so hard on this idea of these library categories specifically because we want keyword search to work well. Now, if you design a template from scratch and you use this kind of gunny sacked approach, you may not have that many comments. But keywords, the more comments, the more you do a global keyword search, keywords are less effective because there's so much you got to get through. So by using these library categories, you can manage your library so that when you're doing a keyword search, you're only sifting through things that are relevant, you know?
Perfect. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, no problem. Great question, James. Anybody else? How one that was a really good question to demonstrate how library categories work. I could show you, is anybody blending libraries like from different templates? Maybe not.
Yeah, I've tried that before this, Brian. I had to ask your help.
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. So let me show you how you could do that. So if you go under the library and you hit this three dots up here, show all categories. So by default, we only load the categories that are in the template you're using. And that's very intentional. We don't want Scribeware to bog down. And like me, I'm building so many different templates for different things that if I have show all categories, my system kind of bogs down a lot. It probably wouldn't for you guys. I'm a little extreme in how much I have going on in my Scribeware account. But once I hit show all categories, and then we look at this category list, I can start seeing things. This is all my narrative stuff here, which is the one I use every day. But then, if we keep going, you can see there's so much stuff it has a hard time thinking about it all. But now we're into a different template where there's plumbing and roofing and this 010205. This is some other template that ended up in my account somehow. So, I mean, with this on, I probably have access to like 30,000 comments or something. I mean, it's really way too much. But in theory, now that I see this, I could like open up this chimneys one, right? And I could go look in here, and I could grab a comment, right? And I could edit in library, and I could move this comment into my narrative chimneys, right? Here's my narrative chimneys, and then add as a new library entry. I could go ahead and now this comment just got moved from some other template into my template.
And it's still in the old template. You didn't mess with
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So
Everybody,
Dylan, coming over, this is one of the questions had for you for tomorrow, but coming over from home gauge, and we have a lot of comments over there that we like. There's
mhm.
also a lot of comments from when we got the template that we don't use. Just organizationally, if you were to import all of our home gauge comments, could those just be put in a separate template and then I can go
They
easily
would
pluck
be
the ones
by
I
so
want?
if we imported them for you, they would be in your system, but they would not be in like if you were starting with the narrative template, for example, and we imported all of your library comments from another system, by default, they would not be in the narrative, the template you started with. You would have to sort of manually put them there, and you can actually do it in bulk. So check this out. Now that I have this set up and all show all categories checked. I could go under, I'm in my template and let's go under sinks and bathrooms and I'm going to hit edit section and edit library category. And now I could go type in the word bath and that's going to sift all this stuff. But I could grab, here's something that came from an A-hit template and I could like grab those 4 entries and move those if I hit update. Now, if we look at edit library category, I've got those 4 entries available to me here. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yeah, that's pretty helpful. It's just I also struggle with that all the comments we have in the other software,
Well,
like
what you could
60%
do
of them we
then,
don't use.
what you might do is break, you could connect them and then click and then click here the 4 entries. And then you could review them. And let's say, here's one bathtub operating. That's a sophisticated narrative right there. So you could click that one, and then chips were noted in the bathtub. Maybe you want to keep these 3, but get rid of that one. You could
So I
just
can quickly review
correct. You could
that
open up.
list of comments and just pick the ones I want.
That's right. Yep.
Oh, that's going to be wonderful.
Cool. So, and then you'll see that you'll still have them, but now I only have 3 entries there. Right. So you could connect them, then go through and cull out the ones you don't want, and then you'd kind of have a hybrid approach. Nice. Great questions. Cool. Anybody have any other desktop questions here before I move on to mobile for a little bit?
Hey,
Hey,
Dylan, do we have any, I know we've talked about this in the past as far as there's some folks out there with great templates or great narratives. Is there any kind of sharing mechanism for that?
yeah, that's a really good question. So we very specifically designed Scribeware not to be able to steal intellectual property. So, we have certain people who have authored templates, and in order to be a sort of publisher in Scribeware, we can make somebody a publisher, and it's a relationship thing, and I would get to know them and kind of review part of their template and make sure there was an effort that it's like, not using other people, illustrations that don't belong to them. So it's actually why we paid Charlie quite a bit to build all the illustrations that we ship with in Scribeware. And in addition to having, you can use all of our illustrations in a template, but you can't use Douglas Hansen's illustrations and then sell your template because they belong to him. So we've really tried to be careful with this. One of our competitors got sued for this, and a lot of people were mad, but they really did design a system that was perfect for stealing intellectual property, and we're trying to not do that. So if you, Jim, let's say you wanted to share your template with Jason, you could sell it to him, you could give it to him, whatever. You would just say, hey, can you load it for him? And with your permission, we can load templates and share things, but we don't make it open season for that reason. Does that make sense? Cool. Um, Yeah, I hope you guys respect that. We've really worked hard to try to. I mean, it's made it a lot harder for us. It would be really convenient to just let everybody share everything, but it doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do. So, uh, anyway. Does anybody like Charlie's illustrations? Well, there's some really nice stuff here if you play around in all these little folders. Just if you don't know about it, they're all sitting over here in these little illustration boxes, and you can go ahead and add more here if you want to add some of your own. Again, if you want to put Douglas's in or, whatever, all those ones, there's lots of them that are for sale. You can go ahead and add more. But I love Charlie did a nice job. I think there's some really, really good stuff in here. So play around. And if you're new to inspection, you could probably learn a lot just by checking out all the illustrations. It's like a little wealth of knowledge over there. Cool. All right. Anybody else? Should we move on to mobile for a little bit? And I'll show you guys a couple new mobile things.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it looks like anybody want to read to me over their chat, any chat things? So what you just did there will permanently save the comment in both of those sections. Yeah, that's correct, Jake. When I was doing, you would have the option of either moving a comment or saving it in both places. And then, yeah, cool. All right, let me try to share my screen. All right, cool. So let's see, some things I wanted to show. We made a copy of this one. So I'll open up that job I did the other day that was that 1-year warranty inspection just to show. One thing that has been on our list for a long time, and we actually finally got done, is you have a mobile preview. So let's say I'm done with this inspection. You guys all know that to get the mobile app to open, you can hit that little hamburger menu at the upper left or just swipe from the left. So this is all my chapters and stuff. And at the top, I have report observations. So that will be, I hope, useful to do a summary review with your clients. We have some filters here. If the little sort of lines at the upper right, if you click those, you can have the order that you did them in the report, or ascending order or descending order, or recently visited. So there's some kind of filters there. But I think ascending is what I would want to use. Yeah, so that it starts with the major concerns and then goes to repairs. So now if I wanted to review with the client, all of my things are organized pretty well. So I could start with the major concerns when they show up. I could click on these pictures and I can start kind of walking them through and even expanding them. I was actually thinking it would be cool on the review if the caption box disappeared up above. If you could get almost more full screen pictures would be kind of sweet. But I don't know how hard that is. But the poor guys, every time they build something new, it's like ask for like 10 more new things. It's like nightmare for those guys. But right, Mike gets it. I mean,
Job security.
yeah, the struggle is real, right? They're like, oh, we're done with that, and then. So in any event, and then I could go back and open up this gutter thing. I'd be like, yeah, see how your gutters are installed too close to the siding. We've got this mounting block issue, and I could explain that it's the one on the north side. So anyway, hopefully you guys like this. On-site review on a mobile phone is still pretty small screen. Does anybody using this, and does anybody use like a tablet on site? I would think with a tablet, this would be, pretty darn effective.
I I thought that was still in beta.
I think this should be out as of like today, I think, or maybe yesterday. But if you don't have it, then it should be coming. But look for that report observations.
I
Um,
will be.
yeah.
How did
Nice,
you get
Jason.
how did you get to it again, Dylan?
It's just in the chapter. Let's go over this. So I'm in the chapter section right here, all my chapters on the mobile. I've got client and property information, and there's a lot here, you guys. So if you're new to Scribeware on the client and property information, this is where you could obviously put all that information. This is where you would publish the report right from the client and property information page. If you click on the three dots, there's the app settings that you can open. There's all kinds of good stuff, though. There's a map that'll navigate you to the site. You could email your client, you could call your client, you could text your client. Same with the agent. You can copy all that info to a new template. So if you if you had the same job and the same client and you wanted to do a sewer scope, you could hit copy info to a new template, and then you could do a separate home inspection and sewer scope report, all with that same information. There's some troubleshooting stuff. So those are the app settings. And then if we open up and look at these things at the top are important, report observations. That's what I was just on. And then this is really important, sync status. So the sync status here, everything has uploaded. But if you're using Scribeware's mobile device and you're having syncing troubles, the first place to go would be this sync status, and it will tell you whether the pictures have uploaded to the cloud or not. And it's really pretty cool. Like if I had just taken a bunch of pictures, you would watch them syncing here. If you work offline and you get home, I would be sure, when you get connected to Wi-Fi, I would open the sync status and try to keep this open. Your phone does not always prioritize syncing. So sometimes you need to keep the job open to kind of tell your device, hey, sync this stuff over. Like if you don't have the job open, the phone doesn't know to do this. Like we've tried to try to make the phones do this, but it's pretty hard for us. There's so many different devices, and most of the phones don't seem to respond. So you do have to take some initiative and try to make sure it's open, and the sync status is good. The single best I like to do is work on the report when I'm home, and I can, while it's syncing, I can keep working and doing stuff, and it'll just sync in the background. And but if you don't want to work on it, just open that sync status. So that's good. And then the needs attention would be all of your required fields and all your flagged items. So let's go navigate to that comment that we did with siding. Remember, this is the one we were working on desktop with localized siding repairs needed. And I'll go ahead and flag that. And now we'll go back to, now you see there's one item that needs attention. So these needs attention are great. This will, anything you flag, if you've finished all your required fields, it'll just have your flagged items there. Everybody with me on that?
Yes,
Yeah,
have a
Dylan.
question.
Yeah, shoot, Wayne.
Go ahead. On the new observations, is there a way to filter out an observation category?
Let's work on that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this poor comment one more time. The siding and trim. So let's go ahead and I will delete that. So let's rebuild this comment, and I want to show this feature, this add to observation feature. So let's say I'm doing my inspection, and I open this comment up and I take a picture, right? That this is my localized siding and trim repairs. So we'll take a picture, and my voice to text never works when I'm zooming, but let's just say rot repair needed on the
That looks
kitchen.
more like evidence of a mouse intrusion.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good one. Who's it? Where's the drum roll or the Okay, so cool. I've done that. I added this comment, right? And I've flagged this because I know I'm going to come back to it. This is a photo bucket. I'm just going to dump a bunch of weird siding stuff there. And then I'm doing something else. I'm working on the grounds, and I'm talking about, there's no window wells or whatever. I'm doing something different. Doesn't matter where I am. I'm in my stairwell section. Well, let's go take another picture here, and we'll caption this one. Blah, blah. blah. All right, we got another great comment. So I could go hit add observation now. You see that button there, the blue one? And when I do that, this is going to show me all of the things that are in my report currently. So you could do a keyword search. I have 96 comments in here. So if I start typing in siding, here's my localized siding comment. So now I didn't have to navigate back there. It retrieved that comment. I could apply that media. I could also open up my gallery here. That's the button that's just to the right of the mobile app. And let's go grab some of these there's that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So boom, I got all those. And now I've also added all of those pictures in here. So, and now I've got all those, when I'm done with my inspection, I could put my cursor there, hit the mountains to bullet, the little photo captions to bullet with the mountains on it, and boom, make my comment. Everybody with me? Now okay, so that's great. Let's say I'm done. But, now we're somewhere else, like we're in the interior and we're doing something. Again, I could just take a picture. I could open that picture and I can hit add to observation, and it's got all the different comments that are in here. This one is it says siding. So if I delete that, it's going to have everything. Like I could light fixture not installed if I wanted to add it there, if I found another one. This has really, really speeded me up. It's amazing how much time this can save you. So I love this. You can either go in from something in your gallery and you can hit add to observation, or if you're taking a new picture, you can hit add to observation.
So this is probably going to vary person to person, but I'm kind of curious when during the workflow is the best time, I guess, to caption to bullets.
Yeah,
Right. So
that's a good question. Anybody else want to chime in? I mean, I have my own theories, but Mike, you use a lot of photo captions to bullets. Do you do it as you go? Like, what do you like to do?
Um, I do the captions to bullets back at the office because sometimes I rearrange photos. I'll dump several photos in there, and so I just like to do my edits before I do all that. Otherwise, you got to go back and erase all your bullets and do it again anyway.
yeah, that's kind of what I've found. So
Yeah,
I'm just curious what other
and
people are doing.
that's what I do. I don't, you could, sometimes I'll do it on mobile, but like I usually wait until I know for sure I'm done. To me, that's the real metric. And then to Mike's point, if I want to resequence them or there's like some complicated thing I need to add, I'm waiting until I get back at home. And, because sometimes I might have like pictures of 6 different decks that I've rolled all into one comment. And I'll have to then, my parent comment might originally have said like repairs are needed to the decks. And I'll add something like there are 6 decks here and they're all in terrible shape and they all need to be rebuilt or something, right? And so I'll end up tweaking that comment. That makes sense, Jason?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But it does depend. Sometimes you're going to have really simple ones and you're kind of sure that you're done with them and you could just do them on the mobile as you go. I do that occasionally, but I would say most of them I'm waiting till I'm back in the office to actually hit the button. I try to get the
yeah,
pictures in there though.
yeah. That's what I'm doing. Getting the pictures, get them captioned with the comment, and then worry about bulleting it later.
Yeah, it's kind of why I also like Scott Baker's thing that we added of pre-flagging those parent comments, because then it forces me to review them before I send the report out. I think that was a pretty good idea. So a lot of my kind of parent comments I now have pre-flagged, which just helps me remember to clean them up. But then on site, geez, how fast are you moving on site? You choose your one comment and you just take pictures and caption them, and yeah, you got a little bit of cleanup when you get home, but it's pretty easy usually.
So Dylan, I added an inspector only observation category,
Hmm.
and those are then showing up in this new feature, um, which not something I want to review with the customer.
Let's see. Those are showing up in the
In
report
report
observations,
observations,
but wouldn't they be all the way at the bottom?
no, I have them at the top of my list because I go it's the most least used. So if I change the order, they'd go to the bottom and then,
Look, you can filter by modifier.
ah,
See that? That's a great question. That's what that little
thank
orange
you.
filter is on the top. Which makes sense. Like that would I really ought to just have those pre-checked because this is brilliant. I should have shown this. I didn't even realize it. But like why I had so many comments is I have a lot of little descriptive items that I'm just describing the building. But once I get rid of those, you're really just not dealing. Now I only have 21 observations to sift through. Whereas if I open that back up and I have everything. I've got 97 comments, so that's a lot to sift through. So again, this little whale
Yep,
drain looking thing,
that answers that, and this is phenomenal.
great. I love it when a
Yeah,
plan comes together, right?
absolutely amazing. This is going to change everything for me.
That's awesome. I'm psyched, guys. Yeah, I think this feature is very cool. It's I love it, and I don't even do that much on-site review, but I do a little bit, and this is pretty great. You
So
can even add things to like you can go into a new section and actually like if you hadn't chosen a comment yet, like you thought you had and you hadn't, you could actually like go in and choose ceiling fans, and then you have to do a keyword search to find something, but.
so I didn't know that this was a new feature, and when I opened this up on site for mine, the it, I just went over everything with the guy right there. I used this to scroll through and show him everything. That was kind of awesome. I didn't realize this was a new feature. I thought this
Yeah.
was
Great. Oh,
been
good.
there, and I
See,
was like, oh, this is great.
nice, man. That's awesome, Jason. Yeah, well, it's cool that you found it intuitively. I mean, we try to make all this stuff as intuitive as possible, but it is, it's that there's a lot of power in reporting here, and so the more stuff we add, it's hard to make everything totally intuitive. But so like, Wayne's question was a good one. I hadn't found that, but that's awesome. You found it straight off. It's great.
I didn't have that on my mobile app until I just updated now.
Yeah,
So,
that's right, Brian. That's how new it is.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had it
but
for like a
I'm
couple
new
weeks.
altogether, so.
Yeah, we've been beta testing it for a couple weeks, but it's that new. So, well, we're trying, guys. Let us know. We keep listening to what everybody's saying and try to do these things. I wish it were faster, but if it was easy, everybody'd do it, right?
Yeah. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, the more I dig into it, everyone keeps talking about these other softwares. I've tried quite a few of them. It was one of my business partners that told me about you guys. I even on a general search, I never found you guys until he mentioned it. And I gotta say, this software is by far and away better than anything I've seen so far.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, we've put a lot of effort into report writing, so we're not, our deficiency is definitely business management, and that's coming to some degree. We're not. I don't think we're going to try to build like the ISN, you know, Jimmy and Bobby work on Wednesdays and Sundays, and they only do sewer scopes and chimney inspections, and they charge 395, whereas Billy and Joey work Thursdays and Wednesdays, and like there's ISN scheduling is like somebody freaking shoot me, like I do not want to get into that, but we are lacking in business management, and it's like kind of top of our list in the new year, and I apologize to a lot of you guys that yeah I know we haven't. We've been promising that, but I hope you see the benefit. We really believe firmly that um, we believe in that your client's data belongs to your clients, and we believe that a great report will make your business. And if you can do a great report quickly, then you've got a profitable business that is working in all cylinders. So we've tried to stay laser focused on that until we feel like we really have the report writing part the way we want it, and then we'll get into at least a modicum of business management stuff to make it. Our goal is to support the sort of 1 to 3 person shops with our, with if they want to do scheduling. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about a lot of the scheduling stuff, but I'm noticing more and more and more apps now that like are doing most of this stuff with like AI assisted bots and things. Like I think the whole scheduling world is rapidly changing and is going to be pretty different even in a couple of years. So, um, top of our list is Steve has already been working on a bunch of stuff around PDFs. Anybody, do we have any Florida or Texas people or people that need to attach PDFs in reports? Anyway, we're working on a bunch of stuff that should help that because we do have a bunch of scribers in those states. And then hoping in the new year, we're going to be working on observation tags, which I'm really excited about. And I could show you guys on desktop if you want to see that. And then after that, we're going to try to get business management going. And the first thing would be showing you who has viewed the report and when they viewed it. And then that way you could start like locking reports if you want to. And once we have that functionality, we would be able to like lock, you would be able to hit publish and send an email and lock the report until it's been paid and signed. So those are all coming your way, but you know, I don't know when we'll get to it. We're trying, you know. Do you guys want me to show you real quick? What was I gonna show you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll just start a new one here. So if you were a Florida inspector, like all these the guys down there have tons of the 4 points and win mitts, and you know, people in other states have pest forms they have to do, WDI and so forth. So um, what we're doing is much more sophisticated mapping so that you could map fields and have them print in the report. So I'm just loading my template right now. Oh, someone said they're using Microsoft SwiftKey with voice recognition. That's pretty cool. Thanks for that, Erskine. I think it was Erskine that said that. So we built out like a 4 point chapter, and so now in order to fill out this PDF, because we've done the mapping, you could sit here and start filling these fields in on your mobile device, and they will show up in that PDF. So I don't know. If you're not doing this, it probably doesn't matter to you much, but it's really going to be super cool for people that have to do PDFs. And I think we may be the only home inspection software that will let you, once we get this set up, you will be able to embed these fields right in your home inspection report and basically be able to auto generate your PDFs as you're doing your home inspection, which would be super cool.
So this would be different than your current method to do the WDI PDF?
Correct. That's right. This would be it would be a tighter integration. You'd be able to do it completely on your mobile device and never need to go back to desktop. Whereas currently you would need to finish that on desktop right now, Joe. Good to see you, Joe.
Yeah, same.
Hope you're well, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
All's well. So how do we write these fields up to then apply to something like the NPMA 33 form, or are you guys doing that part?
So on the NPMA 33, you have to have like, on your end, it's up to you to get approval and permission to use that form.
Agreed.
So we can integrate with them. From my perspective, that's arguably the least informative document that's ever been created by mankind. And they want something like $40,000 a year from us for the privilege of integrating with that document.
Yeah.
So until we grow a lot, that's not happening. So you have to have an account with them. Once you have permission to use it, we can help you map those fields, Joe, so that you could have them both as a separate chapter, or you could even embed them in the report. The separate chapter probably is not that difficult for us. The embedding them in the report is possibly like a custom thing. Like you might have to pay for a little bit of help for that because it's pretty.
Yeah, separate chapter would actually make most sense.
Yeah, well, the cool thing with having it embedded, I think that for that one, a separate chapter is going to be fine. The things like the 4 point and the win mitt, you're getting the data when you're like in the kitchen and in the bathroom and in the attic. And so then it makes more sense to like scatter all those fields. So yeah, hit me up on that, Joe. I'd love to get that working for you. That's in kind of beta at the moment. So we've got a few Florida guys on the front lines of that at the moment. But I think by the new year, we should have that really rolling and ready to crank for you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And is that going to completely replace the existing PDF utility?
Um, no, it'll be really similar. It's just you'll be able to do it all on the mobile app would be, it won't like replace it. So if you're comfortable with what you're doing, I don't think it'll have to change. Yeah.
Because I use the existing to generate my document that I make my inspection notes on paper on site.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, let us know if we break something for you, but that's not my goal. I don't think we will. Yeah. Good to know. It is, we're starting to get so many people using Scribeware in so many ways that it definitely Steve is pretty smart about thinking through these things and trying to make sure we don't mess somebody else up in our effort to help somebody. But obviously let us know. Right on. Anybody have any other questions and stuff, or we were able to cover some good things here today? I was going to show you guys one more thing on my desktop. I can't even remember what it was.
Are you going
The
to send out the
observation labeling.
recording?
Yeah, I will uh try to put this recording on YouTube and in the Scribers forum.
All
So
right, good. Well, right when I was jumping on, you were finishing up something I'm curious about, but I'll go back and watch the video.
yeah, I'll try to get this posted. I am recording it, so hopefully
You
everyone
you were talking about some sort of report labeling,
report labeling.
some kind of labeling that's coming soon or something.
Oh yeah,
Observation
thank you.
tags.
Yeah, let me show that. Thank you. Good. At least somebody's got a brain on here. Not me.
Who?
Um, I'm constantly forgetting what I'm doing now. All right. Thank you for that. Can you guys see my desktop?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason we were doing this is, well, multiple. We're starting to get more people doing a little more of like a room by room approach to their report, which I totally get from a home inspector perspective. To me, the drawback of doing room by room, for example, would be your electrical items would be scattered throughout the whole report. So now, like the electrician doesn't really have a convenient, like one page place to get all the electrical stuff. So, you could kind of do a workaround like Charlie Buell does. You could make a modifier that's like electrical and plumbing and stuff, and then have all of your electrical and plumbing items would all have a fairly condensed place in the summary page. So that would be the workaround to date. But let me let me go ahead and show you one of my reports, and it'll, I think, help make some sense here. Thanks for bringing this up. I did want to show this. All right. Okay, so in this job, if I go down here to the pest summary, see how when I create a report, I get an automatic pest summary shows up on every one of my reports. And I have this little header of like wood destroying organism inspections and that the state requires a diagram and all this blah, 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 blah. And then these are all of my pest findings. So it's all in one place. Notice how these pest things have this little bug on them. And that's how what I did is I tagged these observations with a bug and I pre-tagged them. Anything that would be part of a pest inspection for me, I pre-tag it with a bug and it auto creates its own little summary for pest items. And this has its own HTML link that is different than the rest of the report, which is really pretty cool. So why we want to build this is if you were doing room by room approach, you could have all your electrical items tagged, all your plumbing items tagged, and you could be generating summary pages so that you could be like, here you go, electrician, here's all the electrical things. Here you go, plumber, here's all the plumbing things. Even better, we think it could be leveraged for re-inspections, everybody's favorite pastime, which I encourage everybody to charge 1.5 times the original inspection fee for doing a re-inspection if I have anything to do with it. But I'll let you muscle through that. But so visualize then if we go to the back end, like let's say I was going to re-inspect this exterior. Let me get out of this one. Sorry, I wasn't totally prepared to demo this, so I gotta jump around a little bit. Let's go to this copied one here. So now let's say I was going out to re-inspect then this the siding system, right? And what I could do is go ahead and click. What we're going to build out is that currently all you can do is make this a pest inspection, but we're going to build it out so that every company could create their own little bug. So we'd have a bunch of different like little insignias that you could use, and you could, have like electrical and plumbing and reinspection items and whatever. And I could tag this as a reinspection item, and then I could call this like a partly completed item. And I could either delete the original pictures or put in some new pictures or whatever I wanted. But this would then, when I publish this report, it would make a summary page of only reinspection items, if that makes sense. And you could have some language at the top that's like, I hate these, I'm not responsible. you know, uh, that nobody ever fixes anything right, but I was asked to do this.
And then they
Um,
have their own boilerplate, or
yeah,
do you
you
kind
would
of
you would be
sign?
able to have make your own boilerplate that like little header paragraph that you would want at the top of like, hey, here's all your electrical items, here are your reinspection items, and then you'd be able to kind of tag them. So we have a couple companies that do a lot of reinspections, and so we're trying to help them out with this. And I just think I think this feature will be surprisingly useful to solve weird problems that come at us, I'm very excited for this. I think it's a pretty powerful tool for our toolbox. So,
Ellen, can you? I don't see a place to put that bug on my desktop. How do you do that?
in order to have that, you have to be a pest inspector, and I have
Oh,
this little thing, and I think you might have to actually put that under your profile that you're a
okay,
licensed pest
got it,
inspector.
got it,
Once
got
you
it.
check that, that little box
So right
shows
now
up.
it only applies to pests.
Correct. And
Got it.
so we've actually had that feature for like almost ever because in Washington State, before we were licensed by Home Inspector or by Department of Licensing, we were licensed by the Department of Agriculture as pest inspectors. So in Washington State, we used to forever and a day have these inspections embedded. We'd have the pest inspection kind of embedded within the report. So I've always thought it was super cool functionality, but because it was Washington State, there weren't that many of us using it, and then we haven't kind of made it as powerful as it could be. So, the cool thing for us is the functionality already exists. We just need to make it a little more user friendly so that you could use it for more different things. If that makes sense. Yeah, so that's going to be hopefully coming by that and the PDFs we're hoping to finish out the year with. And then I'm hoping we're going strong in the new year with, some of these payment processing and scheduling and business management like things is the goal. Sorry that's been so long in coming, but we're not just sitting there doing nothing. We got a lot of good stuff going on, I think. So. Cool guys. Any other stuff? I got a few more minutes. I gotta go. My boys have a midweek soccer match tonight, so I'm gonna be heading out here momentarily. But got a couple more minutes. Someone has one more quick question or
No, thank you very much for your time. Nice seeing everybody. Y'all have a great night.
yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's a good group. Geez, we had like 31 on here at one point. I think that's awesome. So, Steve and I appreciate all you guys' support. We're really working hard to keep making the product the best. I really think we're there with reports, man. My system is just smoking for me. So if you're struggling with it, let me know and we'll try to do what we can. This thing is really helping me write great reports quickly, and we're gonna keep trying to get you there, and then hopefully get a little bit business management stuff in the new year.
I was hoping to hear from Tim Trickle. He's always doing really cool stuff.
Yeah, boy, that's a whole Tim's doing some very cool things, man. We'll have to have a whole Tim-led, one of these meetings where we just see all that can be done. Just so you guys know, Tim is a consultant that he doesn't work for Scribeware, but he's a scriber at heart, and he helps a lot of our clients out with custom CSS and custom JavaScript. So it lets us do really an amazing amount of customization. It's sort of layers of code on top of our base code that it'd be too complicated and difficult for us to try to build all that within Scribeware. So it's really pretty neat. So Tim's a good guy to know if you're interested in, heavy
Let,
lifting, neat stuff with Scribeware.
let me know when that meeting is.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, great seeing everybody. I will record I have it recorded, so I'll do my best to put it up. It usually takes me a while by the time I